This week on TORC Unleashed, we venture out to the UP of Michigan for a front row seat to the most extreme racing on the planet, the Traxxas TORC Series, presented by AMSOIL. And the fifth stop is none other than the intimidating track at Bark River. Later, we'll profile the wild man of short course off-road racing, Adrian Cheney. Then, the experts over at AMSOIL give us the inside scoop on the latest in synthetic oil technology. And finally, as the green flag flies, the fastest off-road machines on the planet take to the stage at Bark River for 2 intense days of racing. All this and more on TORC Unleashed.
Kelly Snyder, and welcome to TORC Unleashed. We're here at Bark River International Raceway for the fifth stop of the Traxxas TORC Series presented by AMSOIL. The fans have dubbed this one of the best races they'll see all season, and you could say the same thing about the drivers.
This is one of the tracks that has every part of all our other tracks we race on put into one. It's got the technical tight stuff. It's got the speed. It's got the big air.
It's awesome, man. The open spots let you spread out a little bit, so it's not just carnage in the corners. And then you can just try to pick people off. I mean, it's great.
Bark River is a unique racetrack. This track has gone from being really heavy, loomy dirt to a dry, slick track.
The track is so diverse that you can't set it up for a fast track like Crandon, or we don't set it up like a track like Chicago where it's short and rough.
They take tremendous abuse, especially on a track like this, which is high speed, but it also has sections which are very loamy, which is deep dirt, and then it has other sections which is basically like ice. So you're sliding around the ice, kind of basically burning up your tires and your equipment, and then you get out into the loamy stuff, which just sucks all the power out of you, and it's like trying to run fast in sea sand. So it's really hard on equipment because it shows two extremes on the same track.
This is our 38th year, 38th annual race. Only Crandon, I think, has been around longer for off-road tracks.
Tons of fans out here. I think there's 15 or 20,000 people out here camping. Cool atmosphere.
When you look at the grandstands this weekend, the hill is completely packed. And that's what these tracks are. They have such a heritage out here that people spend their vacation time just to come to these races.
Fans are awesome. They love this stuff, man. They bleed off-road racing.
For one racer, Nick Baumgartner, taking care of his fans at Bark River is just one of the perks of his job.
They come out here to the racetrack, they get to come out here, they get to meet us, we sign autographs for them, they get to enjoy their time here. And without the fans, sponsors don't do this. So it comes full circle, you just gotta keep working and keep pushing. Because I wanna do this for the rest of my life.
Nick Baumgartner, professional snowboarder and off-road truck racer.
Hey crew chief, you need some Loctite? Need some Loctite, brother? Handing out some Loctite, man. I want to be able, when I race against people, I want them to keep their stuff together too. So if they got Loctite, they'll be good, and then I just got to outdrive them. So, Morris, I've come bearing gifts. Quick sticks, you got any of those?
I started with the snowboarding and stuff. I always wanted to race something motorsports. I thought it would be rally or something, but it was just a natural fit because I'm from here to get into off-road racing. I went to the races, I checked it out.
Hey, I got some Loctite for you, brother. I didn't put any temporary tattoos, but you come down, I'll get you a sleeve.
My knees aren't gonna last forever. I can't snowboard forever. I don't want to go back to work.
What do you got? Oh, look at that little holder.
Doesn't drip on anything. Wham, right there. Bam, I need some blue.
All day.
Whap, drop blue.
I want to keep having fun, keep enjoying every day, and off-road racing is the ticket. I do the same thing on a snowboard, and it's crazy awesome, and the adrenaline you get. And then you throw out here and you put on 425 horses and just slamming doors. I don't even think that you got to ask why I do this. It is awesome.
Next on Torque Unleashed, we go behind the scenes to follow the wild man of motorsports, Adrian Cheney, as he prepares for Bark River. Then we tag along with the experts over at AMSOIL for the inside scoop on some of the latest developments in motorsports technology. And later, the track is set and the drivers are ready. We'll highlight a weekend of racing that's not to be missed on Torque Unleashed. Torque Unleashed is brought to you by AMSOIL, Cooper Tires, and by Oakley.
Welcome back to Torque Unleashed. I'm Kelly Snyder. One Pro 4 driver has been dubbed the Wild Man here in the series. Originally from South Africa, now living in New York City, Adrian Cheney has definitely lived up to that Wild Man nickname.
There's a duality going on where you're walking around in a suit Monday, servicing people in Manhattan, and then come Wednesday, Thursday, I'm out, in the middle of the Midwest or in the middle of the desert, getting ready for a race. Having that is an interesting dynamic. I'd seen it on TV, but I was doing road course racing. So right when I was thinking, okay, I'm good enough at road course now that I want to try to go professional, I went and tried a few different types of racing, and when I tried a Pro 4, that was it, I was done. The threat of death is always interesting and exciting and keeps you alive. The need for speed, and the biggest thing is the wanting to compete. That was what got me into it. There's a lot of G-forces at this track at Bark River. When you go around a turn or you go over a jump, and you land a little bit sideways, it loads the truck up. And in this case, we popped a tire. When we popped the tire, the rubber flailing around probably went over and bent a track rod. And the whole rear end all of a sudden started thunking. And what that did was the track rod let go. And then what that does is the rear end becomes unstable and it starts to do damage. In this case, so this is a king shock. This is super strong, but it just sheared it right off. And this is the spring. See, this is supposed to be straight. We've got a really good team. It's a new team for this year, which is you always want to have as much longevity with your crew members as you can. But so it's a fairly new team for the year. But everybody came together really nicely, and we have great food and hopefully not too much work.
Put it down 2 holes and move that one down 1, 2 holes as well. Yeah, Adrian's a great driver. He does have the nickname the Wild Man.
I kind of let the truck go where it wants, maybe more so than others, and you can see that when you're watching it.
Over the past couple of seasons, though, he's toned it down quite a bit and realized that you got to finish the race to win them.
The rear end of the truck may come out a little bit more or may go a little bit higher over the jumps. You can just see a little bit more determination coming from the truck. I haven't been here in 5 years, so it's pretty technical. Got to get back into figuring it out. The turns are big and sweeping, and there's a lot of opportunity for different lines to carry your momentum. And that doesn't happen right away. It takes a little bit of track time, seat time.
Like, it seems like the outside line is really upsetting the truck and killing your momentum there. The other 2 guys were like a truck further to the left than you. Only thing is, that's gonna make it hard to make that left-hander to get to the left lane. So we gotta kind of see which one, if we lose time, one versus the other.
With me and Adrian being teammates, we thought, both of us being in one class was kind of redundant, and especially with Realtree coming on board, we wanted to give him representation in both classes. It's been a change for me because the 4s, we can go in places that the 2s can't, and I got to remember that I got to use the cushion and stuff. So it's a relearning process for me to go back to a 2. We bounce off each other. He wants to go to the far extreme, trying stuff, and I'm like, you know, we need to try it here. We need to test it, get it to that point. So we really kind of complement each other on that side. I kind of bring him down, kind of level him out, and he also gets my blood going, so it's good for me as a driver.
Steve's a good driver. You know, he used to race karts when he was a kid. Basically ruled the desert in the pro truck class all through the 90s.
You know, I basically manage all the guys on the team. We do all the research and design of the trucks and testing.
He's been around off-road racing for 30 plus years, and yeah, he's very technical, very good with feedback, and very good with setup stuff. So he's definitely an asset to not only his race program, but Adrian's as well. So everybody kind of feeds off of each other.
You know, I feel like I'm one of those drivers that everybody can trust. You know, a lot of the guys in the business know that, you know, I'm not going to just take a cheap shot on them. And I at least hope that. But sometimes I think part of that too plays into their favor, that they know that they can, you know, park in front of me and I'm not going to just take them out of the way. And so maybe sometimes I need to be a little more of a bad guy than a good guy.
Next on Torque Unleashed, we tag along with the experts over at AMSOIL for the inside scoop on some of the latest developments in motorsports technology. Then, the pros take to the track at Bark River for rounds 9 and 10 of the Traxxas TORC Series. Can wildman Adrian Cheney grab his first win of the season? We'll find out next on Torque Unleashed. As the fans of Bark River ready themselves for a full-throttle weekend of racing, Torque Unleashed stopped by and chatted with the experts at AMSOIL about their top-notch racing formula.
Hi, I'm Len Groom, Technical Product Manager for Power Sports, and today I want to talk about gear lube.
In racing, we hear a lot about horsepower, we hear a lot about transmissions, but what we don't hear about is that little piece at the back that funnels that 900 horsepower to the ground.
Here we've got the cover off of just a generic rear gear. When we look at a gear lube and we design a gear lube, we start in racing. What actually does racing do to the gear lube that we need to look at? Number one, it needs to be in the gear. When you go into a corner or these trucks land off a jump and get into a corner, the gear lube tends to want to slosh. So it needs to stay in place. Once we have the gear lube in the differential, it needs to provide protection. Film strength is key. When you land off of a jump, these gears get shock loaded extremely heavily and you can tear up metal or you can wear parts out in.
In this truck, we're using a severe gear 250 weight gear lube to provide the protection they need since the conditions are so extreme. But the same technology and the same research that goes into keeping that 250 working is the same technology that's in all the severe gear line at AMSOIL.
You got to be able to finish a race to win it. So you need to keep it in the axle, you need to keep it in the differential, and it also has to provide some level of protection against those extreme forces that these guys are exerting on the gear itself. Once we get that figured out, then we can bring the gear lube to market, so when you're towing your boat or you're driving to the grocery store, you can rest assured that you've been protected.
To celebrate their 40th anniversary, the folks at AMSOIL decided to make the upcoming AMSOIL Cup race in Crandon, Wisconsin, a little more interesting.
The big news this year is the $40,000 winner-take-all purse that we put out there in conjunction with Crandon International. The AMSOIL Cup is the biggest race, and we're in our 40th year now. We've been here since 1972 making synthetic motor oils.
You can win individual races throughout the season, you can podium throughout the season, but we're all building up towards this AMSOIL Cup.
They line up all the Pro 2s on the land rush start of Crandon International Raceway. They throw that flag, all those Pro 2s take off.
They give the Pro 2s the 10-second head start. They're the fox and we're the hunters, you know, and we just go hunt them down.
You know these Pro 4s are coming, it's just how long can people hold them off and can you get out front? We know the 4s are coming.
I got this one race, this one deal, it's all on the line. We go out there and take risks we never have. We get these things on two wheels, and you learn a lot because you'll throw a different setup at it going, hey, I'm gonna try this, and it's gonna be on the edge, it's gonna be on the edge to drive, and then it's all mayhem.
We can't tie each other up in the Pro 2s. We can't be banging and bumping. If we do that, the 4s are gonna eat us up.
The prestige of being the best driver in the Pro 2 division, Pro 4 division, the adrenaline is just crazy. To be able to work your way up as a Pro 4 driver through the Pro 2s and win it is wild.
Gloves are off. We're going to the front of that thing.
Next on Torque Unleashed, the green flag flies as the world's fastest off-road machines invade Park River. Torque Unleashed is brought to you by Traxxas, Ram, BF Goodrich, and Mastercraft.
Well, the fans are stoked, the racers are ready, and the stage is set. All that's left to say now is, gentlemen, start your engine.
Saturday, Round 9, the Traxxas Torque Championship. The fastest off-road machines on the planet gather at the dirt track of Park River for a chance at victory. Pro Light. As the green flag flies, Sean Morris grabs the early lead. Soon after, driver Luke Johnson moves past Morris for first. Meanwhile, Brad Lovell inches his way closer to Morris and eventually passes Morris for second. Up front, Johnson continues distancing himself from the pack. And at the checkered flag, Luke Johnson takes the win, followed by Brad Lovell in second and Sean Morris in third. For Johnson, the race here in Park River is the first pro win of his career. Next, the Pro 2s. At the beginning of the race, Jeff Kincaid grabs the early lead. Last year's champ Bryce Menzies stays back in the mid-pack. While Kincaid, Rob McCachran, and Chad Horde lead the race, Menzies begins charging back. Menzies pushes past Horde for third, then McCachran for second. Finally, the returning champion passes Kincaid for first. At the checkered flag, Bryce Menzies takes the win, followed by Kincaid in second and Rob McCachran in third. The Pro 4s. As the green flag flies, Johnny Greaves moves up front and begins to dominate the race. Returning champ Ricky Johnson falls back into second and struggles to keep up with Greaves' monster lead. Mike Jenkins and Scott Douglas push to keep up with the frontrunners. Then suddenly, the race leader Greaves suffers a mechanical issue. Johnson takes the lead. Jenkins and Douglas move into second and third. Greaves fights to stay in the race. At the checkered flag, Ricky Johnson takes the win, followed by Mike Jenkins in second and Scott Douglas in third.
Yeah, good run, buddy. Yeah, real good run.
Sunday, round 10, the Pro Lights. At the start of the race, the battle for first began. Brad Lovell moves into the early lead. Returning champ Andrew Cadell struggles to keep up with the frontrunner. Lap 5, Lovell continues leading the race with an eager Cadell close behind. With just one lap to go, Cadell challenges Lovell for the lead and takes it. Lovell fights back, but at the checkered flag, returning champ Andrew Cadell takes the win, followed by Brad Lovell in second and CJ Greaves in third. The Pro 2s. As the green flag flies, Steve Barlow grabs the whole shot in the early lead, followed by CJ Greaves in second, Scott Taylor in third, and Jeff Kincaid in fourth. Barlow makes a mistake later in the race, allowing Greaves to jump out front. At the competition yellow, Greaves continued leading the race, followed by Taylor in second and Chad Hort in third. As the race continued, Rob McCachran began his drive to the front of the pack. McCachran challenges Taylor and moves into second. Greaves continues leading the race with an eager McCachran hot on his tail. At the checkered flag, C.J. Greaves takes the win, followed by Rob McCachran in second, and Scott Taylor takes third. The Pro 4s, the final race of the weekend. At the beginning of the race, Johnny Greaves jumped out front and takes the early lead. Mike Jenkins and Scott Douglas collide, forcing Jenkins back into the pack. One lap later, Douglas would overshoot a corner, allowing Mark Jenkins to move ahead. Still up front, Greaves continues to dominate the race, with Mike Jenkins and Ricky Johnson trailing behind. At the checkered flag, Johnny Greaves takes the win, followed by Mike Jenkins in second and Ricky Johnson in third.
Well, that about wraps it up for us here at Bark River International Raceway. For TORC Unleashed, I'm Kelly Snyder, and we'll see you guys next time.